So I'm being observed by the police. They're filming, they're taking pictures, pants sagging, chain hanging, hat back to front. My mind alone creates my entertainment. It's much more than just the beats and the bars. She understands that names hold power. There's 3 albums out in the universe that only true Cyclonious fans know. I made the beat 12 years before I recorded it. Ping, he came out of nowhere and he goes, yo, Sykes, I'm here. Not like now where we go bing, 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 bong, sample this and chop it up, bing, microwave it and say, here you go. I'm not going to say no names, yeah, because it will start a madness. I'm a thinking man. I'm a man who, I can't help it. I'm always trying to analyze. I'm always trying to understand. I'm never trying to stay still, because staying still is death. Like, energy is constant moving. It might change its direction, but it's never still. So I'm always buzzing, I'm ticking. I'm a family man. Family to me is above everything. Like, even though music is my release, it's my journal, whether it's writing music or whether it's making a beat, I would give that all up just for my family. I love my family to the depth. And when I mean family, obviously I'm talking about blood, but you find that there's individuals that are not technically your blood, but they're more family than your actual family. So when I say family, I'm talking about the people that I respect and love. I'm all for them. Maybe I guess that's what I've gone through in life has made me take this direction. I won't go into too much of that because we'll be here forever, but what I've gone through has made me just see that none of this material shit is important, because we're here for a blink of an eye and then we're gone. So it's the journey in between the start and the ending what really matters for me. So in a nutshell, yeah, I hope that makes sense. All right, so what I mean by I'm a thinking man is like, I just can't help it. Like, if there's a conversation or there's anything that I think that's the topic of discussion, something could happen in the world, or someone's telling me something about history, I'm not just going to take that and then just say, yeah, that's what it is. I'm going to try and understand it myself. I'm going to try and make it make sense to me. Whether I agree with it or not, I'm going to think about it and ponder on it. Now, in totality, that's a gift and a curse, because obviously, you're trying to gain that understanding, but sometimes overthinking about things isn't great to do anyway. But that's just how my makeup is. I'm a person that likes to just understand things and just know it. Yeah, I think it is the feeling. It's like, it's just like when the plug gets put into the socket and it fits, and that's why I think I'm like, okay, I get it now. I can move forward. But this is the thing with life. Every single step, like, no man knows everything. So you're constantly uploading, you're constantly trying to know. So I guess it's just a mad situation where you're in, where you'll never stop thinking and never stop pondering. Yes, I don't rely on entertainment, or as I call it, entering the tainment. I don't rely on that to fuel me. My mind alone creates my entertainment, or creates situations, or creates the place for me to, do my scientific experiments, if you want to call it, mentally, or to analyze, you know what I'm saying? So I love sitting down thinking about things and, trying to uncover. I'm a thinking man. I'm always trying to analyze. I'm always trying to understand. I tell you what, I wouldn't be here now. I wouldn't be playing nothing from the last 20, 30 years. And this is the thing. I'm going to get to the point. I'll go to the 70s. I think the 70s was the best era of music. The 70s, don't get me wrong, like, I think the 60s, 50s and beyond had great music, but I think when they got into the 70s, everybody was making timeless and great music, fabulous music. You had those people that was actually playing the music as well. Not like now where we go bing, 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 bong, sample this and chop it up, bing, microwave it and say, here you go, here's your food. Like, these people, you compare them playing and loving the music. There was something about the 70s which to me was magical. Yeah, I'd go into the 70s era. And the beauty is you can listen to any genre, R&B, jazz, you name it. That's hard. See, it's a bit biased. I would have to say reggae music. I would say like Studio One and Trojan Records and them sort of things there, because that's what I grew up off. My dad was a soundsman. That's what he was playing. And again, you can hear and feel the love within the music. These are people actually playing the music. The sound quality was a certain way. It wasn't the greatest, but you could just hear the rawness. It was authentic. There was no pretense. It was warm. It was powerful. They wasn't just making any jibber jabber music. They was actually talking things that today you could play the music today and it makes perfect sense, and it uplifts you. So yeah, I'll go down that lane of revival music, revival reggae roots music. The 60s, if you look in politically what was going on in that time, yeah, a lot was going on. Had a lot of the people like you had a lot of activity of like the Panthers and all of this sort of stuff, early movements of these sort of people. But then through the 70s is where the meat and veg of it, the proper core of it was taking place, and movements was taking place, the hippie effect and all of this sort of things, and all of these effects from all of those eras and people. And I just felt like there was such a power. There was such a power movement going on. People were secure in their thoughts and feelings, and you felt that through the music. Because remember, the music, art reflects life and life reflects art. So you're getting the pure essence of who they are. And I don't know, man. I feel like I'm waffling, but I know what I'm saying. And the reason why I won't pick the 90s is because I was a part of that. Like I grew up in that. I know that very well. And it is a good place to go back to. If we're going to look into hip hop, what catapulted that? What fueled that? And it was the movements of the 80s and the 70s and the 80s. That's a lot of the places where we sample what we use today. So I'd rather go to the core of that and be amongst those people that actually they're playing that. The James Browns, and the list goes on. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why I picked the 70s. Everybody was making timeless and great music. Wow, because when it comes to favorite artists, man, wow. There's just so many artists, bro. There's just so many artists. I'm gonna pick one, and it's just the baitest artist, yeah. But like, this is a person that has, fueled me the most. I'll say Tupac. But the thing with Tupac is, what I would want to do is to have a conversation, and it wouldn't even be about music. It wouldn't even be about hip hop. It would be about the man behind. It's to get to understand him, because it's weird. I was having a conversation with my daughter this morning about we was talking about names, and this is what I'm saying. My daughter's 13, and she's the one who come up to me about the power of names. She understands that names hold power. Like you got the native Indians, they'll have a name like calm water over jagged rocks, something crazy like that. And then, those names will catapult you into existence of who you are. So my daughter knows that Tupac was named after a revolutionary who was called Tupac. And then obviously you got the Shakur. And so I'll be asking him questions about that. Did his name catapult him into who he was? The movement of what his mother being a Black Panther, what is that like to be in a household raised by? Because everybody feels that they're revolutionary and how they will do this, and yeah, I'm against the government, but he was born into that. He was born in a jail because his mum's trying to fight the power, even to the point where before he died, his alias was Machiavelli. Like, a normal thinking average man is not thinking on these levels. So I wouldn't speak to him about his music or his acting. I would be talking to him about him, who he was, you know what I mean? So I would ask him about his name, because if I remember, his name originally wasn't Tupac, it was something else. I can't remember what it was. He had a different name, and then his name got changed to Tupac Amaru Shakur. So I say to him, how does it feel to have this bar? You've got your name, but then now the bar's been set higher to give you this did you feel that you can fill those shoes? That's what I'd ask them. Because everybody feels that they're revolutionary and how they will do this, and yeah, I'm against the government, but he's actually he was born into that. All right, so I mentioned about the album that is in work, so that's going to be coming at any point soon. But the album that is actually out, the last thing that I did was an album called The Sound of Calligraphy. Again, I'm very conceptual. I had that title in my head for many years. but I never touched it because I was just like, for me to put it out there in the atmosphere, everything has to correlate, everything has to make sense. I wanted to make people understand the sound of beautiful writing. That's what I was thinking, because sometimes when I'm penning things, I'm trying to create something like a picture that's verbal for the masses. I'm trying to create the perfect sound of music for people. And then I just kind of put it to the shelf, the concept, until one producer, shout out to Dirty Urch, amazing producer, he went incognito. I didn't see or hear from him for a few years, and he kind of like out of sight, out of mind. I forgot about where Urch was, and then all of a sudden, ping, he came out of nowhere and he goes, "Yo, Sykes, I'm here." I'm like, "Yo, what's going on?" And he goes, "Bro, say nothing. Listen, I got something for you." He WhatsApped me this tune, yeah, which is the title track, The Sound of Calligraphy. Like, I literally, he don't know this, but I went nuts when I heard this tune. I was like, "Oh my fucking God, this is what I've been waiting for. This is what I need." And literally within an hour or two, I had the song written. I messaged him back and I said, "Bro, I'm ready to go with that tune." And he started laughing. And so when I went studio and I made the tune and I sent it back to him, and he goes, "Oh shit, that's what you was, is that what you was doing?" And yeah, it's like, even if you watch the video for that, The Sound of Calligraphy, because I wrote the script and I directed it, but shout out to Chiba Visuals, filmed it for me. Top dude when it comes to videos. The whole point of the video is when you're watching it, you're seeing I'm being observed. Like, I'm an individual that looks to the viewer that I'm selling drugs, because I've got this bag on me and I'm linking up with key people. Like, there's Nate, if everybody knows who Nate is, yeah, Nate's a top artist. I'm meeting up with Nate and then I'm showing him this bag. He's going through this bag, he's taking something, we spud really. So I'm being observed by the police. They're filming, they're taking pictures, so it's looking like I'm up to dirty deeds. And I'm linking up with certain, I think there's 2 or 3 people I meet up in the video, and I'm giving them this stuff and we're doing a little transaction. The end of the video is the police capturing me. They get the bag, and what do they find in the bag? They find nothing but books, literature, books. And when you see the books, on purpose, the book it scans the books, and it's books to free the mind. So rather than setting you back free and thinking, "No, what," you see them saying, "No, you're coming with us," and it just fades and goes to black. And I was trying to put a message out to people about the power of thought, the power of the beautiful word, the power of calligraphy. I know it's trying to get all that science fictional, but there will be most probably a time when you won't be able to think for yourself properly. They will shut that down. So it's best to gravitate to free thinking and thinking that's going to help to build great structures for ourselves, spiritually and mentally. So yeah, The Sound of Calligraphy, that's in a nutshell, that's what I brought at last. Great album, and if you're a person who's really into authentic boom bap lyricism, that's an album for you, definitely. I wanted to make people understand the sound of beautiful writing. I'm working on 2 projects, but I'm going to focus on one just for the moment, because this to me has the concept alone for me, I think, is just dope. The new album that I'm working on is called the King Nama's Palette. Now, if anybody doesn't know who King Nama is, he was the first pharaoh of Egypt, which obviously we call Kemet, or we call Tamare. Yeah, Egypt is a Greek name, so the Greeks called that area Egypt, but we call it Kemet, or we call it Tamare. Now, he was a person who was very significant because before him, Egypt was split. So you had the lower realm and the higher realm, and they had 2 different crowns. When he came about, he shut that off and he merged the 2 crowns. One was white, one was red. He brought Kemet together and made it whole. He was a military leader. He was military trained, but he was a great leader for the people. It's not hard for me to embody those sort of traits. Like, don't get me wrong, I'm not in the military. If you look at Cyclonious as a character, Cyclonious is very Cyclonious is the natural disaster. Lyrically, I like to go into some dark modes, and I wouldn't say I'm a battle rapper per se, but I'm a person who likes to mess with lyricism, and sometimes it can be a bit violent, you get what I'm saying? So that's the elements that I'm from. I'm trying to, in the essence of this album, I was trying to bring the UK rap scene together, because I felt that we're very divided, and we're trying to be like every man is an island, every man's separate, when in actuality we should be coming together. Because I've always said this in many interviews, I see UK rappers like the Avengers. I think that separately they got great powers, they do all of this stuff on their own where you think, oh, he's dope, but when you put them together, it's a madness. Like, so for instance, on this album I've got a song called The State of Emergency, and including me, there's 8 rappers on there. Like, those are the things that we don't have no more. The grime scene will do that though. You'll see the grime scene with like, you'll have Chip on there, DEE on there. You'll have all of these Frisco and all of these artists, all these dope artists, and it's dope. But that's something that we was doing because grime comes from the, you know, it comes from the ragga and the hip hop vibes. You get what I'm trying to say? So we was doing the ciphers, but we're not doing that much no more. We're not coming together and showcasing. So that's what I'm trying to do with this album. I'm trying to bring us a bit more together, and we can just move forward. You know, that's just my thought on in this precise moment. I'm thinking that the UK hip hop scene is a bit divided. Let's come together and make something great. The ego's killing us because we're so egotistical. We're thinking, yeah, because we can get in a bedroom studio and make an album, we think we've made it. You know, we're not, like, I'm a person where, like, you see, like, just to move away to come back, you see, like, you got great people like Rakim, and then you got another great person like Big Daddy Kane. We've always wanted to see them clash. Why haven't they, in this great stature, then why haven't they come together and made an album? Do you know what that would do for hip hop? Do you know if they decided to go on tour, like, do you see what will happen? And I'm not trying to bring them in and shame no one, but I'm just trying to say we're of the thinking, man. Like I'm saying to you, if you did that, what would that do to hip hop? So that's what I'm saying. Like, the tours would happen. The younger and older generation would want to get involved because these are two monumental figures in the scene. Like, that's what I'm saying about it. So let's go back into the UK hip hop. Do you know how much artists, think in your mind now of 2 UK artists that you'd like to see collaborate and make a tune? Old parties. Do you see what I'm saying? Like, there's so many that I could draw from. There's so many people that I've interviewed where, like, I'm thinking, right, if you two came together, that would be a madness. Do you see what I'm saying? But people, I think, are too much into their ego, and they're like, nah, man, I'm not going to do because I'm the dopest. We're all dope. Let's get over that. No one's really making OP like that. There's no, like, when it comes to the promoters, if you notice, the promoters are only bringing people that they have personal relationships with, or they're being gatekeepers. You know, they're being gatekeepers and they're not trying to bring people. But what if we change that? What if we started collaborating? We did certain mazes where they're saying it comes now out of their control. They're going to have to draw for you. They're going to have to draw for Cyclonious, who's just made a song with, let me make up anybody, I don't know. Let's say like Cyclonious and Wiley done a song and the song just started to bang. It's different. Now that we are the ones that are dictating what goes on in the scene. I think we just need to get off of our egos and start thinking about being like alchemists. Let's start putting things together and creating great situations within me. It's the King Nama's palette. How do I describe my music? I don't know. I feel that my music is just a reflection of how I analyze life. Like, and it's just a reflection of me. It's weird, like even when I listen, I love all types of beats and stuff, but I sit mainly in the melancholy, hard boom bap. Like, I just think I think I'm a sad old hermit when I really think about it. I'm a sad old man. But I'm gonna give you music that's gonna, my aim is to give you music that has no time restriction to it. You can play my music in 20, 30 years and it will still bang and it will still make sense. That's what I try to do it for. I don't try to fit into what the conglomerates or what people are saying is in. I create what I feel is a masterpiece. It's like, for instance, there's this song called The Last Dance that I created on the album that I created on called The Revival, the red edition, right? There's a song in there, the last song in there is called The Last Dance. And I made that beat, no word of a lie. At the time, I made that beat 12 years before I actually recorded on it. Yeah, I made the beat 12 years before I recorded in it, and I knew the beat was dope. It was so special, the beat. It was like a masterpiece, but I didn't know what I was going to write on it. And then one day I remember I was in my car and it just hit me and I was like, oh shit. So as soon as it hit me, I hollered at Nate. I said, Nate, I got this tune I want you to be on. So he goes, say nothing, just send me the thing. So what I done was I went studio, and that was it. April Showers, who sings on the chorus, she has this old, eloquent voice. So I knew for a fact I wanted her to be on the tune. So I wrote my parts, went studio, and I sent it to Nate. Nate was like, oh my God, is that what you're doing? Boom. So he kind of just did his own thing, but, you know, leveled up with it. And then that's when, after he done that, that's when I wrote the hook. Because the hook was really, to me, is one of the most really important things. And the hook just summarizes everything. So when you hear that song, I think that song just embodies Cyclonious entirely. What if I was to pick one song, that song is me. And that song is giving you everything in there. It's giving you hip hop, it's giving you Asian vibes, it's giving you sustenance, and it's just me unapologetic. Oh my God, is that what you're doing? Doing. My music, when I first started, I just thought it was something that I did. Well, it was something that I did. It was something that I was passionate about. Still am to this day. I can't stop like this. Do you know how many times I've tried to stop creating music because I've been pissed off with it? Fuck the music, fuck the scene. Everybody don't give a shit. Fuck them. And I come right back to it. That's now I've realized that it's much more deeper than what these conglomerates are painting music to be. Like where they would say hip hop's about being on the street corner, pants sagging, chain hanging, hat back to front, this bullshit stereotype, when all hip hop is who you are. It's a culture. I have to take the theme of what Loki said. It's the soundtrack to the struggle. You see what I'm saying? That's what it is. It's art imitating life and life imitating art. It's synonymous. So I create music because it's my release. It's my therapy. I'm not a person who I've never been a gang person. You don't see me rolling with Bear Man. Don't get me wrong. I know enough people. We all get along and all of that, but I'm very real. A lot of these people are not my friends. We're associates, or we do things together in a certain way, but I like solitude. I like to be stoic. So it's my release. It's my conversations with myself. If I have a thought process, I write it down. If I think about something that's going on in the world, I write it down. Stuff that I love and stuff that I'm interested in, I write it down. Or I'm going to try to create a beat what's going to give you a sense of feeling of what I'm trying to bring across to the masses. So again, therapeutically, that's what I think. It's my therapy. It's my journal in a nutshell. It's the soundtrack to the struggle. Mad. I asked my daughter that this morning. I said to her, what is success? And success ultimately is success for every individual is like the fingerprint. The fingerprint, everybody's got one, but everyone's one is different. So success to me is fulfillment, completion, and that's whatever I'm doing. So again, like without going into too much depth, like I've been in situations where there's mad money on the table, and I've had all of these sort of watches and all that shit, but there was no fulfillment. There was no completion. These were just things that helped me maybe to acquire other things. But getting those things, like the materialism, wasn't successful to me. Success was me having the burning passion to make music and then creating my own studio at one point. I had my own studio in my bedroom. That was unheard of when I did that. Everybody was coming to me to cut tunes because that's what we wanted to do. So that was success. You know what I'm saying? Completion and fulfillment. Yeah, that without going on to too much, that's what I think success is to me. It's just like I'm saying to you, having the idea. It's one thing of me turning around and saying to you, yeah, man, I'm going to create this album and I'm going to call it the King Nama's Palette. And I'm giving you all these concepts and these ideas about him. And then next time you speak to me, you say, yo, what happened with the album? You do it? And I go, oh no, I didn't do it. And yeah, I've kind of forgot about it. That's not fulfilling. I think everything starts off in the darkness of the mind, and everything starts with the darkness of the womb, and then it gets birthed. So that's what it is for me. Like when I have these thoughts and these feelings and these ideas, and then I now make it physical where I can hold the album and say, right, here it is, and yeah, it's dope. And that's fulfilling to me. That's success. And being a man about my word. Like I try not to talk too much, because when you talk things, like you have to be careful of what you say, because those things live. So if I'm going to say something, I want to fulfill it. I want to complete it. I want it to now be a thing. Yeah. People need to understand, like, look at what you just said there. Something that's in your head. Yeah. How do you bring that out of your head and now make it into a reality? Do you know what type of individual that you have to be to do that? Like, I don't think people, like, I'm talking about people that really make music. You've got this thing in your head, you're searching for this sound, you find these sounds, you piece it together how you hear it, and now it's there. It's no longer just there, it's here, we can all hear it. That's crazy. That's wizardry, that's scientific, that is a genius. And that's why I'll say that to just let all MCs, producers, it doesn't matter what type of music you are, or singers or whatever, once you have these ideas and you're bringing it out your head and you've got it to how you've got it in your head out there, you're a genius, man. You have to give yourself a pat on the back, whether you're making millions or not. I just applaud people that do that stuff, man. It's mad. Success for every individual is like the fingerprint. I just want people to, when you think of that name Cyclonious, you're going to just think realness, rawness, truth, but great vibes. Yeah, that's what I'd want people to turn around and think. And I want people to understand that there's what I'm trying to give to the world lies within all of us, and it just comes out in different shapes and forms. I have come to terms that rapping is my forte. That's my thing that I do. That was my form of expression artistically and making beats. And we all have it, but it comes out in different ways. We shouldn't be stuck on them like, oh, this is what I'm doing, and express yourself in whatever shape or form that is. Like hip hop, when you look at hip hop, it's much more than just the beats and the bars. You had the graffiti artists, you had the breakers, you had the fashion. You know what I'm saying? We had all of these elements which all come to. You had the DJ, as well. So you had all of these things that came together that made hip hop. And all hip hop is an expression. So I'm just, in a nutshell, express yourself and do it unapologetically. That's my slogan, that's my statement, that's the legacy. Realness, rawness, truth. There's many things, but what I will say, this one, like right now I'm studying to be a therapist. I'm studying to be a counselor. I would say I'm not in completion stage, but I've done 3 levels, which is basically 3 years. I think I've got 2 more to the point where I could, after those 2 years, the 2 years is just to really shape and mold me, put me in the trenches of doing counseling and therapy. And then after that, I could be I'll be a professional counselor. I'll be able to give people counsel. The reason why I'm doing all of that is because of the same thing of the music. And like I said, I'm trying to understand myself, because if I don't understand myself 100%, how can I understand you or talk to you? And that's the same thing with therapy and counseling. You go through this thing of understanding self and shaping and molding yourself. What triggers you? Stuff like that. How can you go out and help people? And I've always been I'm always a person for the people. I guess that's why I'm going down this avenue. But yeah, that's it in a nutshell. I'm studying to be a therapist, a counselor. If I don't understand myself 100%, how can I understand you? My first diss lines to myself, what would I say? That's mad. I don't know how to attack myself. I'd maybe go after the fact I'm a person that I like to dismantle. So I think I'll say something that goes against my character, my name. Because Cyclonious, the natural disaster, I'd go after that somehow. And I'll try to just belittle it. I don't know what I'd say. But that's what I think I would go for, because that's what stands out to me. Names and all of that stuff, I'd go straight for the name. You're destructing what? You get me? I don't know. I've been put on the spot with that one, but that's what I think I'd go for, the name and my alias and all of that stuff. I like to dismantle. I'll take it. You know why? Because I know that anytime I pick up I can't help it. I only write dope shit. My nursery rhymes are going to be dope. I'll take it. I only write dope shit. I'm correcting them, because from the start, people need to know who you are from the start. Because if you don't do that and they go on, you're not actually who you are. You're this new, Imagine people know Cyclonious and they start calling me Cyclops. Like, who's that? Do you know what I'm saying? And then now I'm a whole new entity, and I'm not doing all of that. And the funny thing is, there's been certain artists, people are wicked like that. I'm not going to say no names, because people start a madness. But I remember I've jumped on certain things, and on purpose they'll try and alter the name. What I mean by on purpose, because they know what the name is, or they would miss my name out of the thing. So yeah, man, you have to verbalize what it is and who you are, and make that clear from the beginning, so everybody understands what it is, what time it is, what level it is. People know Cyclonious and they start calling me Cyclops. Like, who's that? Do you know what I'm saying? Everybody was making timeless and great music. Success for every individual is like the fingerprint, the King Nama's palette. The King Nama's palette. The King Nama's